When you go to Kensington, you're not going to see a beautiful picture. You're going to see drug addicts, you're going to see prostitutes, you're going to see needles, people laying on the street, homeless, and you're going to see people even injecting themselves with drugs, getting their high on.
People know that they can come into Kensington and find what they're looking for if they're looking for potent opioids.
It's unbelievable to me to see where it's gone and how many people are just living right in the open, copping, shooting dope, living that life. It's mind-boggling, but it's gotten worse.
The road, the shorter it gets. All those nightmares inside my dreams are filled with regret.
I think Kensington is a culture shock to come into.
Growing up in Philadelphia, you know, it's always drug users everywhere, but not like this, not like Kensington.
Homeless all over the place. Everybody's hooked on dope or fentanyl or horse crank. What they don't even know what they're hooked on down there.
You can look around. If you're out here on the street getting high, just do a 360 anywhere you're standing. You'll see motherfuckers 30 seconds near death.
So I break my own heart and I feel the pain. And then I'll cut my nose off just to spite my face. But when I look around me, what's it gonna take to change?
Kensington has the worst problem, I think, of any neighborhood in the country. I mean, it's being called the Walmart of heroin.
Surely it has the atmosphere of a supermarket. It does, as far as drugs and drug dealers go and drug use.
I live close by, but I got to Kensington from using heroin.
What attracted me to Kensington was how easily drugs were accessible. I wanted to be around all that.
It's an open air drug market. That means you can sell drugs right out in the open, right on the street, right in broad daylight at the busiest intersection.
Drugs on every corner. I mean, you don't have to do much but just ask. You ask one person that's standing on the corner, hey, where you find so-and-so at? And they're gonna be like, oh, I don't got it, but somebody down the street, everybody knows where everything is going on.
No matter how high I get, I fall from grace.
I came to Kensington because of the drugs.
In the words that I use to pray, get stuck in space.
At a certain point, it just seemed to peak along that Kensington Avenue corridor. What was the reason for that? And I realized that it was the national exposure that we were getting from television and from major newspapers.
Unfortunately, we had Dr. Oz come here about a year and a half ago, and on national TV told everybody that we had the most purest heroin in the United States.
When Dr. Oz did his thing, I mean, that was irresponsible, and maybe it got him good ratings, but it really exacerbated the problem.
We had a flood of people that weren't from Philadelphia along that Kensington Avenue corridor. They were counting like 700 people wandering down Kensington Avenue.
Might take the frostbite in June from the dark side of the room. Tell me, change my tune and sing a different song.
I've never seen as many people out here as I have in the last 2 years.
They're coming from different communities. They're coming from different counties. They're coming from across the bridge from New Jersey. And they just automatically feel like, okay, they heard about a community that's easy, accessible to get the drugs that they need or the drugs of choice. And so they end up migrating here and, this becomes their habitat.
They come from all over, as far as fucking Ohio. They come down to Somerset and they get trapped down here, and all of a sudden, they're Kenzos. No, they're not Kenzos. They're your children.
So when I look around me, what's it gonna take to change?
Philadelphia, unfortunately, is leading the nation in opioid overdoses, with more than 1,000 people dying every year in the city.
This epidemic is long in duration. It's getting more intense. So you're seeing crimes all derived from this opioid addiction. It's making the crack epidemic of the late 1980s seem almost insignificant.
A lot of people, when they go home at night, they close the doors, close the curtains. And that's it. Whatever happens outside, after hours is what happens.
The Philadelphia Police Department has done a great job of reducing violence, but now you see the peak of these overdose deaths. They're not dying from being shot, they're dying from shooting up.
And when the ugliness surrounds me, I know it's up to me to change.
I'm tired of singing the same thing over and over again. We got addicts up and down our street. We got children who singing this stuff over and over again.
The game has changed, and things need to change to stop these deaths. Because fentanyl's on the street, it's killing our young people, old people, it doesn't matter.
I don't really understand how communities in the United States are allowed, to have such poverty, such despair, such human sadness.
We're losing that war on drugs. These are real people's lives that are dying every day, and they're not in Afghanistan, they're not in Iraq, they're not in countries where we're at war or conflicts are going on. So why is it okay for them to die with no help? These are questions that people got to start asking. The public's got to start asking.
Yeah, when I look around me, what's it gonna take to change?
The opiate crisis probably had multiple things that contributed to how it got to where it is today.
Beginning in the 1970s, research showed that American physicians were too restrictive in prescribing opioids for pain even at the end of life when a person, for example, had metastatic cancer. This led to a lot of undue suffering. That research caused American physicians to liberalize their use of opioid medication in these circumstances. But then there were some poorly done studies, widely distributed by certain pharmaceutical companies, especially Purdue Pharma, that seemed to indicate that a physician could prescribe an opioid chronically for low back pain, hip pain, knee pain.
The idea that you're not going to become addicted to opioids unless you're already an opioid addict. That's a big, bad fallacy that really came back to bite us.
Like the hands of a broken clock, your heart's playing dead, and you're begging God to set you free. Just throw those love beads, baby, into the light. You could call it a vision that tramples life misery.
The pharmaceutical industry had a great deal to do with this epidemic. They got pain, for example, listed as the fifth vital sign. So it's the only vital sign in medicine that is subjective.
The government then said to us, well, we're going to base some of your reimbursements on patient satisfaction and how well you do in keeping patients comfortable and happy. And so there was a time when we would say, well, patients are going to have some pain. Got to send them home with a good amount of pain medicines.
For me, opiates became a part of my life when I was 16. I tore my right rotator cuff wrestling, and I was prescribed from a doctor. I didn't get addicted right away, but it taught me that drugs weren't anything that was going to harm me. And so later on in high school, when I was presented to them at a social gathering, I was like, oh, I've done this before. This isn't a big deal. I know how this makes me feel. And there it began.
You got a panoramic bird's eye view, but never knowing what to do. You don't know to love those things you hate about yourself.
I think physicians saw a patient population suffering and then had this tool to fix that. And we didn't think about the downstream effects. So people became liberal about prescribing, resulting in patients saying, well, I need more, because you build tolerance. And so the same dose that achieved a certain level of comfort for me last year is not going to achieve that same level of comfort this year. So my body wants more over time. And then maybe I'm losing access to the drug because the physician group is saying, hey, you shouldn't need this anymore.
My doctor put me on pain medicine, and from there, I've been using heroin.
I started with Percocet, and they didn't work anymore, so a friend let me try some heroin, and I became addicted.
Heroin is shipped to the United States mostly through our ports of entry and in small mail packages, and then it finds its way to the streets of our cities and small towns.
Two monkeys in a zoo. One is me, the other's you. They're more than just having like you and me.
The overprescription of opioids to help people with pain led many, many people to become opioid dependent, to need more and more, and to essentially become opioid addicted.
It starts with being on a pain drug like Percocet, and when the doctors feel they don't need that drug anymore, they're not prescribed, the person starts getting sick because their body physically is craving it because of the absence. Body doesn't feel right without it. So what happens is a person will start buying the Percocets off the street.
They don't stay on those very long, not for a medical reason, but for financial reason. Percocet, Xanax, those kinds of drugs are expensive on the street. Heroin, compared to them, is less expensive. Meth now is less expensive. So whatever you can afford ends up being the drug of choice. Now, principally heroin, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. That's for today. Tomorrow may start a whole new trend.
When you're falling from a cliff, you better learn how to fly. It'd be a pity for you to say goodbye. It'd be an early expiration with no destination, and you can't even say that you tried. It's a wham bam wonderland. Come on, baby, hold my hand, close my eyes as we die.
Fentanyl is like the crack of opioids. Stronger high, and it's cheap.
Instead of selling pure heroin on the streets like drug dealers used to, they're spiking the bag with fentanyl, which is another opioid.
That's a drug used in anesthesiology and sometimes very end-of-life pain.
Fentanyl is much more potent than, for example, oxycodone or morphine or Dilaudid. But because of that, it is used in extremely small quantities. 30 milligrams of morphine is 12 micrograms of fentanyl. Those numbers, to someone who doesn't think about this, don't sound that different, 30 and 12, but it's the milligram and microgram. That's a 1,000-fold difference.
For the heroin user who's used to shooting a certain amount of dope at a time, they go and do a bag of fentanyl and they overdose instantly and they die.
Fentanyl's legal for medical uses. We can prescribe fentanyl. We use fentanyl every day in the hospital. But is it legal to have fentanyl without a prescription? Absolutely not.
I would actually say for a lot of our patients, fentanyl is a great drug because it's a patch for most of our patients that you put on, and you don't have to change it for 3 whole days.
You get a cinematic front seat clue, but never knowing who killed who. You don't know to love those things you hate about yourself.
Do we want to outlaw fentanyl? I mean, I think fentanyl has a place in medicine. What we really want to do is stop the influx of street fentanyl into the United States. A great deal of it comes from China. It comes in the mail often. There have been a lot of efforts to stop that recently, but also the fentanyl analogs are a problem now as well. A fentanyl analog is when they take the fentanyl structure, they change one molecule, and it's a new drug, and it is just as potent as fentanyl or more.
They mix it with everything now. They're putting it in weed. This is what they're doing. They're taking all of the THC oils out of weed and selling it for them, dabs and everything else. So you're still left with the weed. Because with the right amount of fentanyl, it won't kill you, but it'll make you high.
You never know when you're going to get a bag of some bad stuff or some stuff that's too strong.
Two monkeys in a zoo. One is 3, the other's 2. They swing a little bit like
We come in contact with a lot of people who are using K2.
K2 is a synthetic that's mixed in with our marijuana. Sometimes it's been mixed in with our heroin.
The results of smoking it cause irrational behavior, violent behavior.
When you bring somebody back from a Narcan, they are very violent when the K2 is mixed in because you take away the heroin, you take away the fentanyl with the Narcan, and it only leaves K2 in their system.
People have affinities for certain chemicals. You know, first drink and they're off to the races. First exposure to opioids and wow, this is what I've been missing all my life.
When I did heroin, it was like an immediate love affair. I didn't get very sick when I did it. It just made me feel better. I was like getting a giant hug.
At about 7, I had my first drink, and by the time I was 11, I started doing drugs.
It starts out with peer pressure, wanting to be part of the crowd. It's fun in the beginning. Next thing you know, you become caught up in it to the point where when I got introduced to heroin, I became a slave. Like, I had to have it to feel normal.
She thinks that everything is beautiful.
You get a real quick rush and a numbing euphoria all throughout your body, and it feels really good.
He watches the sunrise fade away through the night all alone.
Some estimates indicate that as high a percentage as 67% of people who seek treatment have had some kind of trauma.
Growing up, I had a lot of fear in my life. Once I found drugs, it took that fear away and actually made me feel normal.
A lot of people have a lot of pain in their life. A lot of stuff causes them to seek relief.
An escape.
And now they're stuck in it.
Nobody says they want to be a heroin addict. Nobody chooses that. Something happened in their life that made them take that wrong turn.
Or you just twisted with a crippled mind.
There's a lot of people trying to figure out how addiction occurs. There are people who are convinced that it's genetic, and there's other doctors convinced that's not true, and that all addiction is a painkiller. People are hiding, running, numbing their pain.
There's socioeconomic factors as well, trauma or just poor family support.
There's nothing here. So I feel like drugs is just an escape to get away from reality for a little bit, because during your sober times, you're realizing that you have nothing.
When you close your eyes and say goodnight,
I have an addict's personality.
Your world's a big disguise.
Feeling like I didn't belong, completely unlovable.
I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin.
Once the addiction starts, the brain functions very differently than it does for people who are not addicted.
Opioid use creates difficulties in decision making. So the person loses that appreciation for friends and family, social events, food when they're hungry, sleep when they're tired, and the appreciation for the drug reward looms large in that person's psyche. All other kinds of reward seem almost meaningless.
She says that every day's a miracle.
Shooting cocaine, I had to do things that I didn't want to do.
I work to take care of my habit, heroin and cocaine.
He says that every hour's cursed with the memory of a fool's delight.
The nature of addiction is loss of control. You are controlled by the chemical. In a way, you've lost your mind.
There's a thirst for more. Like, wow, I really need more of this. I need more of this.
There becomes this twist in somebody's mind that once you start using it, you cannot live without the drug. While everyone else is sitting around watching you die, your greatest fear is that if someone takes the chemical from you, you're going to die.
I always get a good job, and then I lose my job, and then I have to go out and steal, and then I wind up going back upstate prison.
You like to watch the flowers
opioid use disorder patient requires a minimum of 2 to 3 times a day to treat the disorder without entering withdrawal.
It's not a matter of getting high, it's a matter of not being sick, throwing up, chills, diarrhea, weak. Can't walk. It's horrible. It's suffering.
I was always worried about the next fix. It was just a full-time job.
I was wearing the same clothes for months, but I didn't think I was that dirty, and I didn't think my drugs were out of control at the time. Even though they were, I just couldn't see it.
When you settle down and turn off the lights, your world's a big disguise.
I went to work every day, but that was just to steal enough to get high.
Your world's a big surprise.
I sold drugs, stole, I was a burglar.
I would steal pills that weren't necessarily narcotics and sell them as though they were narcotics.
If you're a female and you're strung out on heroin, you're probably turning tricks to get another bag.
I date, and all the money I get, I buy heroin and crack.
We hear these things and we answer in shock, we answer in horror. How could you possibly do that? What we don't know is the desperation they feel. They're in pain and they need their fix. They need to get help now.
I think the biggest misconception is that anybody wants it.
You're only happy when you're with your own kind.
There's a huge stigma against folks who have substance use disorders. This is a disease. We have the genetic components of it. We know what they are. We can't fix them yet, but we know that this has a genetic component, that it follows all of the same trajectory of other chronic diseases, and that the person is ill and they need to get well. We're not excusing bad behavior by calling it a disease.
These are addicts that need to be treated like I was. It's an illness. They need help.
Do we just write some folks off because they're in active addiction? Absolutely not. We can't.
You never know what these people been through.
So you want to get clean? Yeah, of course. I don't want to be like this.
There's a lot of people out here like really, really struggling, and they're really great people.
Your world's a big surprise.
These are good people who, for one reason or another, went down a bad path and they couldn't control it.
Police officers are doing their best, but they can't control the village.
Every little street that's down here, someone's selling.
There's several drug dealers on almost every corner.
I stop a corner and they move to the next corner. There's not enough officers to put somebody on every corner.
We make many arrests. We work with our federal partners in FBI and DEA to get to the source of where it's coming from. We've had success in arresting and taking a lot of this product off the street, but it keeps on coming in.
Maybe it's not going to be so easy to stop the supply until you can stop the demand.
Look at the rivers cross the water. Look at the smoke blow from the stacks. Look at the way she smiles and cries for you when she don't think you're coming back.
When it comes to the addicted, we don't consider them to be criminals. We consider them to be in the throes of a disease.
In Pennsylvania, we enacted the Good Samaritan Law, and the Good Samaritan Law provides for if an individual calls 911 asking for help to respond to an overdose. When our law enforcement officers respond, even if they find drugs, those individuals won't be charged. We want people to call. We're not concerned about prosecuting them. We'd rather save their life.
And that helps with the trust level too. We're not locking someone up, taking them to a station house and booking them. We're trying to hand them off to an organizations that can provide both bed and treatment and help.
And there are no reasons for the answers, and there are no words to help us sway. thinks it just might be too late.
The group in this country that has done more than any other group and taken on ownership of addressing this issue have been the police force. They have become social workers, they have become treatment advocates, they have really redefined their job. I think they really deserve a lot of credit.
You'll see a transit police officer go over to somebody that's dipping and tap them, and they'll say, hey, listen, can we get you medical help? And we always get waved off. No, I'm fine. So you step back and you wait for that person to fall and hit the ground, and then we go into first aid mode.
Our second chance court, when individuals are arrested, instead of going to jail, they're put into a treatment facility.
I am not a drug court that feels successful when we stop drugs. We want you to start your life over again. We want you to have a meaningful life. Stopping drugs is part of it.
That's where we
Unfortunately, we can't force people to go to hospital. So if I pull up to somebody and they're ODing and I use a Narcan on them, we will try to talk that person into going to the hospital because they're vulnerable at that time.
I have seen my sister shoot up. She OD'd 3 times. She coded. We had to put her in ice to bring her back.
Any opioid like heroin puts the neurons to sleep in the brain that drive us to breathe.
Opioid overdose causes respiratory depression, so their breathing slows and stops. Without breathing, you don't live.
Every day, the SEPTA system stops because of an overdose. We have officers that race to those calls, are trained in how to provide first aid for overdose victims.
And all those good times I remember, and all those nights that turned out right. But where do we go from here? And how did we get to there? It seems so simple, but we got lost.
Narcan is for acute overdose. It is an antagonist of the opioid receptor.
It's very easy to administer. You stick up the nose and you push.
It should actually be standard. There's no reason everybody doesn't carry Narcan.
People can access Narcan by just going into a pharmacy and asking for it.
In 2018, 390 times the transit police administered Narcan to overdosing people.
The point where somebody wants to get treatment is the time you have to get them. If not, they disappear. They're back into the population again, and then it'll be days or weeks, sometimes months, before they feel that they need that help again.
Every facility is working to make that process faster because the windows close really fast. I want help to, maybe not today, happens a lot.
And I said, hey baby, take a walk with me to the other side of the road. Hey baby, take a walk with me. I'll take you where
We have 30-day beds where they get their initial treatment, and then we try to get them into more of a long-term treatment or into housing.
It's best to enter into a rehab program with the physiological component treated so they can just focus on the psychological component.
Many patients find it easier to be inpatient where they're in a safe, protected environment.
Rehab usually means going to groups multiple times during the day, having some individual sessions with a therapist, often attending 12-step meetings, treating any clear medical or psychiatric conditions.
The most important thing is that people stay engaged in some form of treatment for at least a year to have the best shot of getting well.
I wanna take you to where the sun shines and the moon comes up under the stars, where we can waste our time. And
If we try to treat with counseling alone, the relapse rate is unacceptably high. That is why medications were developed.
There's a lot of talk about MAT, which stands for medication-assisted treatment. These are different treatments that involve a medication.
Well, they're not cures. They are powerful aids that help someone to be able to recover.
Medicated assisted treatment programs, in the short term, yes, because it gets you off the street drugs. But eventually, somebody's got to taper off that thing, man. You can't stay on that forever.
Yeah, there's Suboxone and methadone and all that, but I just want to get out of Philadelphia, period, where I don't know no one or nothing.
There are arguments for days about safe injection facilities.
Needle exchanges do a lot of good. They prevent disease. They prevent syringes from getting discarded. They provide a gateway for people to access services and otherwise get help.
Instead of putting up places where it's safe to shoot dope in case you overdose, how about we just take the dope off the streets?
Safe sites are established for one reason and one reason only: to stop people from dying.
If I was still selling drugs, where do you think I would go to sell my heroin? Anywhere near that injection house, because that's where all the addicts are going to be.
We have enough treatment beds and opportunities for people. It's just that we can't force an addicted person to seek help. They have to get to a point where they say, I can't do this anymore and I don't want to die. A prevention site would be helpful in doing is engaging people on a one-to-one basis.
It would probably be a great idea to put it on a ballot and let people decide, would you support a safe injection site in your zip code? And then not only would we be able to identify where that safe injection site could go, but whether or not people actually support it.
That's where
clean's easy, staying clean's the hard part.
I do not expect drug addicts to stop cold turkey as soon as they enter my program. If they did, they would not be addicts.
Things started getting really good in my life, and one day I decided maybe I could go out and use drugs successfully. It just didn't work. Within a day, I'm sleeping under a bridge.
the mercury's falling, but I can give myself to choose. I take a look in the mirror, the truth is there and standing still.
If you define relapse as needing additional treatment in a medical facility or at your doctor's office, we have the exact same relapse rates as asthma, hypertension, diabetes, depression, and substance use disorders. People do not often get it the first time.
I've been in and out of rehab, jail, practically my whole life.
I can be what you want me to be, 'cause I'm a hypocrite that hides behind the mask.
I tried everything to get clean. Psychiatrist, psychologist. I even went to a hypnotist. I went to the methadone program. I tried religion.
I was clean for 10 years, and then I came back here and relapsed.
I'm a hypocrite, I've always been both sides of the coin, and I always know what's best for you, and I'll prove it when I'm wrong, 'cause I'm a hypocrite that hides behind a mask.
My
My brother died of sepsis from using. My husband, I just found him dead from a blood clot. We got clean together. When I found him dead after 13 years of being with him, I relapsed.
I started using opiates. It got out of control in high school. I put them down. Got out of control in college. I put them down. I got out of control in law school, and I put them down. Each time, it got progressively worse and caused me paranoia, anxiety, and just shame.
The average number of relapses is 8. That's just the average. Some people relapse 40 times.
I take another selfie and I send it to all my friends. The picture's clearer than ever, but you'll never see me for who I am.
You're going to have relapses, and you can't throw in the towel and say, that person wasn't serious about getting sober. It's the nature of the beast.
When do people stop smoking? When they're ready to stop smoking. When are people going to stop being addicted? When they're ready. If they're not ready, there is absolutely nothing we as a society can do.
I can be what you want me to be, 'cause I'm a hypocrite that hides behind a mask.
To put someone in an institution for 28 days is just not enough.
There are still these great roadblocks against people that want to get treatment. We still have to fight every day to get insurance to cover another day of care.
They only gave me detox for 5 days.
I'm a hypocrite, I've always been both sides of the coin, and I always know what's best for you, and I'll prove it when I'm wrong, 'cause I'm a hypocrite that hides behind a mask.
I think they do 28 days because it's what the insurance will pay for, but I think that if you were an addict with years of addiction, 3 months was just a drop in the bucket. You get away from it and then you can make a decision on how you want to live your life.
Substance abuse is the only field where an insurance company will vote fail first. And if an individual has never had treatment before, and yet they are consuming mass amounts of opioids daily, they would have to fail first at the outpatient level, which just will not work.
A lot of folks struggle with outpatient because of the temptation of being out.
Years ago, you could be in treatment for 30 days or 60 days and your insurance would cover it. Right now, most insurances are authorized in 15 days. We're setting people up to fail.
About 10 to 15% of the people who call in actually come into treatment, and that's not necessarily they don't want to come into treatment. It's just maybe they aren't in network with some of our insurance.
My first time going to rehab, I got funding from the county. I had to jump through a lot of hoops and make a lot of phone calls. My second time, I had good commercial health insurance, and they paid for the rehab for 30 days straight.
I'm a hypocrite that hides behind the mask. I'm a hypocrite that hides behind the mask.
Narcotics Anonymous is a very useful treatment program that will help them manage triggers and craving.
If it wasn't for a friend of mine that 12-stepped me in 1985, I wouldn't have got sober in 86.
My sister still goes to NA, even though she's 34 years clean. It's a lifetime battle.
I'm a hypocrite that hides behind a mask.
People are doing great things for folks in Kensington. There's Angels in Motion, the Sisters of St. Joseph, there's St. John's Hospice.
Social workers have stepped up their game.
Hub of Hope is a facility in the concourse. It has washing facilities for clothes. It has showers, eating area, congregating area, medical facilities, volunteer doctors that are coming in. It's the Center for Social Services for the vulnerable community in our concourses.
Tells me I'm ugly
The Kensington storefront is a sanctuary studio where they do art, weaving, different things that keep them from using for a few hours.
My girlfriend and I run a nonprofit organization called Samaritans of Service. We'll go out into the community, load up our van with sandwiches or a great big pot of soup and just feed it to people.
Children going to and from school have to see this every day. So I am working closely with my social partners now and trying to developing safe ways for them to get to and from schools.
Prevention Point is doing amazing work. They're preventing hepatitis, AIDS, getting people into treatment, saving the taxpayer billions of dollars.
Likes me. It sucks to have all of the facts. My head is scary. It tells me I'll never do that.
In this place called Rock Ministries, thousands and thousands of kids have come through these doors.
The Rock is showing the good role models inside of the hood.
This diner is the center for feeding the needy on a daily basis at the Rock Ministries here in Kensington.
The Last Stop is a place that you skid into.
You want to know about the Last Stop? We're just doing a service for people who are spiritually broke. We do NA and AA. We go clean up the river. We clean up some parks, keep the guys busy. We just show them a better way of life.
This is called the Blockchain Gallery. It is affiliated with the Last Stop Clubhouse. It's not only about recovery in this place, it's really just about beauty. It's about allowing people to see something pretty, community to bring some of their art in, to make some art in here.
We come to the streets and we bring them food when we have it. We bring water, we take them to detox, we take them to the hospital when they need to, we pray with them.
And I hear a chorus singing. He is the greatest of them all. Yeah, I hear a jungle cheering. Who is the greatest of them all?
I'm Lisa Ertz. I'm the Executive Director of the Ertz Family Foundation. My son Zachary is a tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now we're in the process of putting together a program to renovate a 85,000 square foot warehouse space and turn it into youth sports and education development center right in the heart of Kensington.
To be able to give hope and love to the kids in this community is all we want to do.
The POWER program at the Montgomery County Community College, we are teaching individuals how to prepare for life, set goals, change the way they think. We teach them how to apply for a job, write a resume, and do interview skills.
I had to have people teach me how not to use. I had to learn how to get up and go to work and be productive.
I can save the world. I can save them all. I can save the world. I can save them all.
How do we solve the opiate problem? We need to get back to what is our goal with pain management? What are the other alternative non-medication ways of assisting with your pain? There's no harm done in going to an extra yoga class or seeing physical therapy twice in a week to help you get through, but there is a big problem when you reach for a bottle of prescription opiate pain medication.
We need to have alternatives, whether it's medicines that target the receptors but don't have the addictive potential, whether it's medical marijuana, hypnosis, meditation, acupuncture. All of these things are absolutely paramount to be able to handle this crisis.
There are, I would say, maybe half a dozen antidepressants that have properties that help with neuropathic pain. There are drugs like gabapentin, which a lot of diabetics take for numbness and tingling in their fingers and toes, that are excellent at helping minimize the chronic back pain that a person's been struggling with. You can keep someone on those medications while doing stretching, strengthening exercises, and getting rid of the underlying cause of the pain.
I can't save the world. I can save them all. I can save the world. Yeah, I can save them all.
We must train more individuals in pain specialties so that more of the population has access to this specialized treatment. We must train more addiction specialists because the numbers of patients are overwhelming the available treatment facilities.
We need to really focus a light on it, put money into it to help support those who are in need for this, because that's the only way we're going to do this is together.
I hear a chorus singing. He is the greatest of them all.
Drug users sit down. People who want to break their addiction do something. Here, they either have to go to work or they have to go to school.
Yeah, I hear a jungle cheering. He is the greatest of them all.
You don't want to put somebody who's suffering from addiction in a penal institution where their addiction's going to get worse because it's not going to be treated. But you don't want to put a drug seller in with people who want to recover. The difficulty is differentiating the two.
We recognize that you don't just solve somebody's opioid problem. You help them get back on their feet. Because if you don't do that, it's only a matter of time before the problem reemerges.
You have to do on a 180, and that doesn't happen overnight. You know, I had to change a lot of the way I lived my life. I had to get used to failure, and I had to get used to trying new things. And as the years went by and getting away from it, life became a little more normal.
My head is scary. It tells me I'm ugly and fat.
Recovery is the greatest gift that I never wanted. I never wanted to get clean. I never wanted to stop using because I didn't know any other way.
My aha moment, that's the great question of addiction. What's the tipping point? Everyone's is different. When the pain gets great enough and you're willing to reach out for help.
The longer I'm on the road, the shorter it gets.
When you're ready to quit, you're ready to quit. And everybody has that day. I've seen it happen tons of times.
All those nightmares inside my dreams are filled with regret.
We have to change the way we think. Change the way we think and how we act. We can change. Yes, we can. Gotta believe.
This is our addiction moonshot. Everybody needs to get on board. If we do not throw attention, a spotlight, resources, and commitment at this, it will not go away.
We must, as a society, invest in better treatment because treatment works.
Everybody has to be on the same page. This is a problem. We need to put an investment into our community to address it. And when we do, it will take us out the other side.
So I break my own heart and I feel the pain, and then I'll cut my nose off just to spite my face. But when I look around me, what's it gonna take to change?
One of the struggles with addiction as a whole is we don't learn about it, we don't talk about it, we don't deal with it. The depths of this disease are so emotionally painful, and we historically have kept it undercover, stigma and shame. And when the news, we show the ugly. We don't show enough recovery. We don't show enough lives changed.
For all the people that you see in the throes of addiction, there are thousands and thousands of people in recovery.
One of the greatest things we can do as people in long-term recovery is to own our stories and to share them with the world, because that lets people know that recovery is possible.
No matter how high I get, I fall from grace.
It's a difficult problem. It's very frustrating sometimes, and it's heartbreaking, but we're not giving up on anybody.
And the words that I use to pray get stuck in space.
I've never seen a collaborative effort like I see right now with private and governmental entities. It involves a lot of support.
Even people who don't make it through our program are better off for having been in the program. And many of them, months or years later, get back into treatment because of what was started here.
Our children will talk about addiction. Our children will understand it's a disease. Our children will not have so much shame attached to it as past generations have, just because of the conversations we're having today.
All the bridges I burn can't be replaced. Now watch me blow my car up just to lose the race. But when I look around me, what's it gonna take to change?
I think people are beginning to change.
I've seen a lot of success stories. They come back, they'll stop by, and they're really proud that they feel good, they look good.
I've seen people clean up, and I've seen people go right back to it. It's all a matter of what you want to do.
People can be healed from it. My sister's 34 years clean. She's married. She has 2 sons.
Listen, if I could do it, anybody could do it. It's about making that decision and having people in your corner.
It's just a choice you have to make. Do I want to live that because you know what the end result is going to be? And it wasn't for me, although it was for a long, long time.
Might take the frostbite in June from the dark side of the room. Tell me, change my tune and sing a different song.
There is a community of people who have dealt with the issue of addiction, who are staying clean.
I was a drug addict yesterday, I'm a drug addict today, and I will be a drug addict tomorrow. And there are things I have to do.
Being clean is something I can't be indecisive about. No matter how I feel, no matter what I think, no matter what, just don't pick up a drug.
More and more people are able to tell us about their success stories. It's not just a possibility. It's happening day in and day out.
Yeah, when I look around me, what's it gonna take to change?
The turning point would have to be the absolute desperation that I found myself in. I ended up dopeless, hopeless, helpless, and homeless.
I took the works and I threw them in the trash can, and I just started begging God every minute of every day.
My turning point was I found out I was 2.5 months pregnant, and so I figured I should probably give my body a break. I had no intention of staying clean. I just wanted to die, but now I couldn't do that with a baby.
I don't usually pick up the phone when I'm en route to do my thing, but I picked it up that day and my mother was crying on the other end of the phone, and I said, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I just want you to go get help." And for some reason that day, I listened to her and I got treatment the next day.
I finally took a look at the loser I had become. I just didn't want that life anymore. I called a friend of mine and he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to get clean." He said, "What are you willing to do?" And I said, "Anything I have to." We went to a meeting. I've been clean from then till now. 46 years I'm clean.
I'm the mother of a 23-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son that have never seen their mother get high.
Until everyone's dead, there's always hope. As long as someone's breathing, there's hope.
My band had an intervention with me, and the 4 guys in the band said, "You're going to go to treatment. You have a choice to make." And that is what got me away from the whole scene.
Enjoy life, give back, don't be afraid. Everything you really want is on the other side of fear.